Welcome back, everybody, to episode 41 of the DrunkFriend podcast. We have a good guest coming up later, but first, as always, Alex and I, NESfriend, SNESdrunk, we're going to talk a little bit about those YouTube channels we got. And, it's bird, it's a plane, Superman. That's what I put out.
Yeah, and it's also some weird little anime Superman.
He's cute.
He's a cute little guy. Still has the huge jaw, the lantern jaw. But what's with that game? It looks kind of weird.
It's a little bit weird, but, and the thing is, you put that video out, you get a lot of people in there that are like, hated this game. I used to rent it all the time, but I hated it. And it's like, well, first of all, if you hated it, why'd you rent it so much, first and foremost? Or it's like, I owned this game, and it's the only one I ever played. It's like, well, you didn't have to play it. It wasn't forcing you to. But it is non-intuitive. So I think if you're a little kid and you're wanting to play a Superman game, it's a little restrictive to fun for you because it has some hoops that need you to jump through. But playing it here as a mid-30s gentleman, I didn't find it to be that bad. In fact, I thought it was kind of neat. It's pseudo open world. You have the whole city to run around in as Superman. You can go back and forth between Clark Kent and Superman. You got all Superman's powers. I mean, it's a little basic. It's side-scrolly. It's platformy. It's cutesy. But for what it is, I actually don't think it's that bad. You might need to walk through it some parts, but once you get a feel for what the game's looking for, there's a little more meat on the bones than you might expect.
So it's not that bad. Who's the developer? Who made it?
Yeah, Kemco made it.
Kemco made it. Okay, yeah. No, Kemco, they're solid, reasonably. I don't know what their track record on NES stuff is, but I know they've made good, Super Nintendo stuff in the past, so they're not totally incompetent. It's not like it's made from Titus or anything like that, so...
Now, let me ask you that. For the past few videos that you've put out there on the old SNESdrunk feed, I've detected more than one, maybe two at least, references to Titus. And I am not as familiar with their shitty track record. For me, over here on the NES, it's LJN people always are complaining about. But is Super Nintendo known for the Titus badness?
No, Titus is famous for being the developer behind Superman 64.
Okay.
I thought it's my fault for, I thought everybody's so familiar with Angry Video Game Nerd, and that's personally my favorite episode of his is the Superman 64 one. Because he's like, look how much room. What is this, some kind of insanity test? And I always love that line.
No, I whiffed on that, but that does make sense. Yeah, you're right. It makes sense in this context, especially because Superman game.
Superman, yes, that's right.
But yeah, we're, they didn't do too bad on this one, I don't think. It's going to catch flack, and there's people out there screaming into their Jeep Wranglers right now being like, it is bad, Travis, you're stupid. But
well, the thing is that a lot of people just wanted Superman to run to the right and smash stuff and use all his powers, and they wanted to beat him up, basically, which is what the Super Nintendo got, Death and Return of Superman with all that nonsense. But
that's a good point. I think people were probably looking for maybe a more super of a man, but what they got was a cute little guy. But it's still a fun game. But
there you go.
I agree. Maybe it's not as I don't know, strong-armed and macho as you might want.
Ooh yeah.
Ooh yeah.
Cream the crop rise to the top. Ooh yeah.
Your impersonation game is very underrated, sir.
Really?
Yeah, your Macho Man is really good. Your Will Actually guy is just aces.
Ooh, yeah.
And your James Rolfe a second ago sold me. So,
really? I was just shouting. I guess it's just a white guy thing.
I think you just sound like a white guy wearing a white shirt.
I could tell you the weirdest impersonation that I've put work into is Harry Carey, and you're gonna hear some of it. I just recorded an LP today for the Simpsons arcade game, but I talk a little bit about impressions, just killing time and all that sort of stuff. So I can do it now if you want to hear it.
Let's hear it. Yeah.
It's pretty limited, but
okay.
Hi everybody, the Carry here. The having another beachful aged Budweiser, Sammy Sosa to the box, and Greg Mannix on the mound.
There, that's about it.
That was really good. It was really good.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been working. I used to make my brother laugh with that one way back when.
That's really solid because people will do a lazy Harry Carey and just riff a couple sentences.
The moon's made of cheese. Like
exactly.
It's like, oh no, that's
and what they're
Will
really
Ferrell
doing is
was
a Will
Harry
Ferrell.
Carey.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But you're doing a tried and true old school pre-Will Ferrell Harry Carey.
I mean, that's the real Harry Carey, that, as I know on WGN. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I respect it. 100%. I think it's really
he's
good.
singing "Take Me Out to the Ball Game" and all that sort of stuff. Even though I kind of hated the Cubs, but yeah, they were on TV all the time, so of course I was going to watch.
You get the full WGN stamp of approval if you can also pull off a Hawk Harrelson. So you work on that one next.
You can put it on the board, yes.
He gone. Yeah, he's
he gone.
He's easy.
He'll grab some bench.
But anyway, did you? Assuming you watched that Superman video at the end, I showed a potential Superman game that we never got, which was Sunsoft's Superman, which they briefly changed into Sunman, which they scrapped. But that looked decent.
Sunman. It did, yeah. And the Sunman thing always made me laugh because it's just so generic, painfully generic. But yeah, I mean, it's freaking Sunsoft. Like they killed it in the 8-bit era. Yeah, it would have been great.
But you know what didn't kill it? The Blues Brothers.
Well, the movie did, but
of course.
We got the aforementioned Titus. Again, I can't help but think of Angry Video Game. What is this? Titus? It's just like, how do you screw up reading the name Titus? He makes it a joke somehow. It's funny.
I need to go back and watch that one. That's a good one.
That one is my favorite. Yeah, it makes me laugh every time. But Blues Brothers game is shit. It's terrible. It's an Amiga ass game that's just not good. It's just one glance at that font you see at the beginning of the game, you see at the title screen, and you see how ugly the background is and all the notes everywhere. It's like, oh no. I can't help but groan and just be like, oh, this one's going to be bad. But it's not good. The thing is that I'm so willing to give these games like a fair shot, but I even go as far as qualify it with like, oh, it's not as bad as the worst shit ever, but yeah, still pretty bad.
Well, you're still doing a service for us. You're showing us what it's all about. I mean, I was curious. I was like, oh, Blues Brothers video. It's probably not good, but let's see where he goes with it. And yeah, it went to not a great game.
Yeah, it's I'm glad it's over with. That's all I'll say.
Do the Amiga fans get upset when you call things Amiga ass shit? Don't you have a going beef with the Amiga contingent?
Well, they're fanatical.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if somebody likes Amiga, they don't just like Amiga. They freaking are head over heels and love Amiga posters on the ceiling.
Right.
Like pictures of themselves, French kissing an Amiga monitor. Like, that's, that sort of stuff. These people are crazy people.
Mm-hmm.
And that's fine. Just don't impose your beliefs on me, please. Because, I don't think it's all that great. And, much respect to the people that actually made good Amiga games, because those do exist. But, there's a lot of bad ones and a lot of really painfully generic ones. So, it became a type and, a cliche for a reason. So, yeah, it's not my fault.
The Amiga Amigos. You're calling them out here today, folks. That was Alex. They're live.
None of them listen to this, I'm sure. I don't know. Someone will email us and be like, how dare you? But I don't know. We'll see. We'll find out.
What's the worst way to listen to a podcast? That's how an Amiga fan would listen to it. They have to continue to crank something every few seconds so that we keep talking.
Yeah, poke that hamster a few times. Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, Amiga bros. We're just having a time with you. All right, let's jump into some emails. We got William here. William Chicago. Bill Chicago.
Bill Chicago's back.
Hell yeah. One of my favorite people. He says, hey, drunk friends. Hope you both enjoyed the holidays. We did. All of them.
Yeah.
Name one. We loved it.
President's Day was awesome.
Oh, it was one of the best President's Days I've had. Your podcast is still amazing. I really enjoy your topics along with your guests. Hopefully on your end, your audience is growing every week. Question for you. Have you ever considered bringing on one of your listeners as a guest? Maybe you can get a different perspective on or insight on games, or just talk about both of your successful YouTube channels. Just a thought. Keep up the great work. And then he sent several winks, I'm sure. Like he wants to be on the show. No, I don't. I mean, I think people that we've had
the answer is no.
Listen.
Next email. No, I'm just kidding.
I was going to say, I mean, I think Musty, he was on here, and Caleb, they probably listened. So yeah, we've technically had a listener on the show before, right?
Yeah, those guys.
I'll even listen to it.
Yeah, I was gonna say at least one other person does too. Pam does, doesn't she? Once in a while.
Yeah, she's a future guest.
So
and
she's
past.
a future guest and past guest. So to answer Bill Chicago's question, we've already had listeners on. So take that, Jack.
That's right. And I mean, we do talk about we talk about Alex's successful YouTube channel and mine copying his. So yeah, I think we get plenty of that in. But hey, if there are any questions that we're not answering, send them in.
Send them in. Yeah, you're talking about like other perspectives. Send in your perspective. Bring it
in.
Meanwhile, Brad here says, hey, Alex and Trav, I just got done listening to your Daniel Greenberg podcast, and it got me thinking what games you guys would tackle if you had the ability to do so. Is there a genre or IP you would love to tackle? Have you ever expressed interest in game design? Thanks for another great episode. All the best, Brad.
I do have an idea for a game, and I actually pitched it in our Discord, and several people got in on the thought, the thinking. I don't know what I'm saying here. The thought process. We were brainstorming. We were having a good time. I thought it would be fun to have a game where you are in prison, and maybe there's no context as to why you're there.
Sign me up already, man. In prison.
You're stripped of basically all your defenses and offenses, but the game is
just me in a toilet and a bed.
That's all you need, to be honest, in life. And then it becomes sort of a bit of a social sim, and maybe there's elements of other games in there too. So I was always kind of imagining it being modern, almost like a Yakuza style. But you're in prison, but you got to get some good relationships going. You got to make good with the guards. Maybe they won't rat on you if you do end up crafting a weapon out of things you find, or maybe you got to make nice with certain members of the prison so that you can work favors. It's become sort of like a political dynamic. But then also, maybe somebody needs to get whacked. You got to do it without getting caught. And you go behind the bushes. There's something out there in the yard, and stippy stab, something like that. Get somebody to sneak a toothbrush in. Either way, it's just a game where you have to rely on all your devices, all the intel you can get from people, and your survival skills in prison to figure out how to escape.
So, are there multiple outcomes with this game? I'm guessing it's pretty open-ended. Where, like, say there's like a Morgan Freeman character in this, like Shawshank. So he's a man who knows how to get things. Like, could you potentially work towards an escape? You could work towards, like, ruling the place. You could work towards becoming, like, the librarian. You could work towards becoming Brooks, where you're a lifer.
Yeah.
And you can't... Maybe you get out and you work at the grocery store afterward, and...
Well, it might stop before that, but yeah. But yeah, that's the general idea. That's exactly what I'm thinking of. Like, you kind of have a choice as to how you want to go. Do you just want to go in and be the tank, be the tough guy, and just earn respect through, like the Civilization 6 way of just pure war domination? Or do you want to finagle a little bit? Maybe, like you said, work your way into the librarian, earn the trust, sneak out under a bunch of books, things like that. I mean, it seems like a very complicated game to make, but something open-ended. There's multiple ways to escape, but it's up to you to figure out how to do it.
Would you play that game?
I would love to play that game. I think that game would be awesome.
I'm just kidding.
I don't want to, like, go to prison for real.
I mean, like, no, I was just asking a dumb question on purpose. That's kind of my humor. Dumb on purpose. I would like to make... Yeah, that does sound cool, though. That does sound cool. And it may, if I'm referencing Shawshank... you're in good territory there. But yeah, I would just make my own IP. I don't know what that would be. Yeah, I would be tempted to just start my own thing from scratch. Genre, I've always wanted to do, something like Nier Automata that covers like all the genres, everything. Work a fighting game into it somehow. The beat 'em up RPG, everything. Like do it all. Shoot 'em up, get that in there too. Yeah, just I don't know. That's a really crappy answer, but I can't really think of anything specific right now.
You just want the Bob Ross palette of games in one.
Yeah. Basically. How about a Bob Ross platformer that's kind of like a Hop and Bob Ross Adventures kind of a thing, where he he has to procure his instruments first by eliminating all these bad things, and then you paint the happy trees at the end of the level. You fill in all the blanks and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, or what if all of the enemies were like unhappy trees, and he had to make them happy?
Oh yeah, and he has to like hit them with the brush.
Boom, happy trees.
Oh, and then of course, yeah, he has to beat the devil out of them. That's what he has to do. That's what
how
he
you
says
get
on the show.
Past the boss. Yeah, he just holds it down and yeah. Yep. Man,
There you go. Bing bang boom. Bob Ross game done. Where's our money?
if anyone would like to make the games that we just pined for, please do. I'm excited for both of them. So do that.
So thanks, Brad, for the email. Much appreciated.
Yep. Next up, Matt from Canada. There can only be one. So he is the Canadian Matt.
Okay, we got Bill Chicago and Matt Canada.
That's right. Yeah, I think isn't Matt Canada a real guy? Isn't that a coach or something?
Matt Canada.
Yeah, that's a coach.
Doesn't Canada start with a K or something like that?
No, it's a C. He's a 25-year coaching veteran. He's currently LSU's offensive coordinator.
Okay, Trav, this is your in. You finally parlayed your success in NCAA football 14 into hearing from Matt Canada.
Yeah. I'm just happy that I out-obscure sports to you for once.
Wow, I had to Google that.
Yeah, I did it.
But Matt Canada is a guy.
Folks,
Matt
please.
Robert Canada.
Celebrate with me. I just feel so good. Okay. Up next here, we got Matt from Canada. He says, hey, Trav and Alex. Long-time listener here. Love your guys' podcast and really enjoy the content. Very in-depth and informative and entertaining. My quick question is, and by the way, thank you, Matthew. That's very nice. Matthew? I don't know you that well. Not your mother.
Matt.
Thanks, Matt. My quick question is, are any of you planning to visit Super Nintendo World in Japan, hopefully in the near future? Keep up the great work, boys. Matt from Canada. Well, not in the near future. One, I can't afford to go to Japan, and two, the near future doesn't look any better than the recent past. But
yeah,
one day, I'd love to. I think that would be fantastic. I want to go to Japan, period. And then if I go there, I got to go to this.
Of course.
Yeah.
It's just I have been lucky enough to go to Japan in the past, and it's really hard to find stuff there. Really hard.
Yeah.
Really tough. It's you need someone there that speaks Spanish. Yeah, you need someone there that speaks Spanish.
You take Pearl. Does she speak Spanish?
Kind of. She speaks her dad's Spanish, which is kind of like weird English mixed with like, I want to say redneck Spanish, kind of.
Okay.
He's kind of a rancher type, so
see.
he's got a certain accent. So it's a different kind of Spanish. But anyway,
that's not going to help you.
Yeah,
either
you need
way.
someone.
I agree.
Not only do you need someone there that speaks Spanish, you need someone there that speaks Japanese, because otherwise you can't find shit there. It's really tough to find anything. I guess that was before when I was there. It was 2010, and smartphones weren't as prevalent, and GPS and all that sort of stuff wasn't as common. At least I don't think. I think that was another lifetime ago for me, basically. So
I think we were still printing out MapQuest directions in 2010, so I bet that was probably tough. Yeah.
But yeah, no, I absolutely would love to go, but in the near future, not likely. Not only because of the pandemic, but because it's freaking expensive as hell.
That's another good point. Yeah.
Train tickets, airfare, all that sort of stuff. So yeah.
Yeah.
No, it looks cool.
Yeah.
What about you?
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, yeah. If it's ever in the cards, I'm there. But as far as planning it, no, I don't. I haven't set up a travel agent, looked at hotels yet. No, we're a ways away from that.
As far as planning goes, I still need to plan what I'm going to have for lunch tomorrow.
True. Same.
Might roll with I don't know. I do have 2 slices of rye left.
Oh.
Might roll with some honey mustard on that.
Very good. Food corner.
What else do we have? Do we have any roast beef left? I might do that.
Buddy, I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't live with you.
I don't know what. We don't have any provolone though.
That's a bummer. You can get by without it, but I agree. It's tough to miss. Yeah.
Would you mix roast beef and a sharp cheddar?
I would. Yeah.
You would? Okay.
Yeah. Isn't that the Arby's way? Isn't that what they doing over there?
Is it? I don't know. I stay away from Arby's.
No. Well, they got meat. If you're into that. Okay. Well, we have a guest coming up. And
wait a second though. One last email, last second here.
Wait, really?
A very important email from our friend Adam Swain.
Oh, right, of course.
This fellow, he emailed us very important stuff a couple weeks ago. In the subject line, it says, Dan Pasqua. And so I responded to them with the only thing I could think of, and that was Ron Kittle.
Yeah?
And he came right back to me with Greg Walker.
Ooh.
And I responded a couple minutes later with Bob Horner.
Oh, very good choice.
But he came back only 20 minutes later with Cal Daniels.
That's a good choice. Wow, you guys.
Not only that, he tripled down on me. He kept going. He kept coming. He was like, I'll give you Scott Erickson, Gene Larkin.
Oh, now he's just using Wikipedia.
All I could do was come back with Aaron Seeley. But he did ask a question. He asked how he could donate to our show. And I recommended the Polykill Patreon, which is simply patreon.com/polykill. So
thank you for doing that.
Head on over there. And he does have a question here that says, what's the best intro sequence to any 16-bit/8-bit game? And his pick is Snake's Revenge, which is this the what do you call it? The NES
sequel?
Yeah. The NES sequel. Okay. Yeah. And it's not the best game, but it's his pick for the best intro.
First of all, I want to thank Adam. I did see he showed up in the Patreon there, so thank you, Adam. We appreciate the support. It's going to help the show out quite a bit. Also, I think I remember reading that email, and I want to say he suggested Demon's Crest as like one of his et ceteras, like would it be this, or this? And I hate to be like just pick one out of his suggestion list, but Demon's Crest is my favorite intro, just because it's pretty metal, it's a pretty rocking game, fire, bones, dragons. Now, your opinion on the game is not great. Mine's maybe a little greater than yours, but that intro, very fun.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And the intro is awesome. Not only the intro, but once you start playing the game and you get that boss fight right away.
Hell yeah.
That's freaking awesome.
So
it's
good.
Freaking kick ass. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Now it's all downhill from there. But Adam, I just have 2 words for you, and that's Pat Listash.
Wow.
But or Bob Hamlin, Garrett Anderson, Mark Langston.
For anyone
Eric
listening that is lost and wonders like who are all these men, I think we previously established that Alex is just obscure sports guy, and I can bounce off that for a little bit, but Adam is introducing a whole new level of obscurity for me. I had to Google most of these guys, and so
Jay Buhner.
Nah, everybody knows Jay Buhner. Come on,
Neil Heaton.
Let's see, you lost me again. But anyway, we have a guest coming up.
Mike Lavalier.
I'm going to cut off your Wikipedia subscription.
Kirk Manwaring. This is my brain,
Did
man.
You just make
this
that up?
No.
All right.
This is my brain. This is from just baseball cards. I never gave an answer for best intro sequence.
Well, maybe you should.
But I think it has to be Mega Man 2. I don't know how it can't be Mega Man 2. Again, he listed it as etc. stuff.
Yeah.
But
he listed all the good ones. That's not fair.
Yeah, exactly. Those are all awesome. Ninja Gaiden 2 is another really good one. But I'm trying to think of a Super Nintendo one that's really good. I guess the Chrono Trigger one, but that's kind of cheating because it's such and that's another obvious pick because it's the music and the big montage and all that sort of stuff. You
know what I learned today has a good intro while you've derailed me completely from introducing our guest. The second, I saw it on Friday Night Arcade video earlier today. It was the second Jurassic Park, Operation Genesis maybe? Yeah, so the video is from Friday Night Arcade. It's Lost Super Nintendo games, Jurassic Park 2, The Chaos Continues. And he shows off an intro to that one that's really, it's odd for the Super Nintendo. It's very artistic and it's sort of, up close to the face cut scenes. It's really hard to explain, but it caught me completely off guard when he showed that.
Yeah, if I remember correctly, that one is all, it's almost like cartoony in a way.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not like what you'd expect from Jurassic Park. It is good. Yeah, that one's interesting. What's another good one? Even the Game Boy's got a few good ones.
Really?
Yeah, sure. The Final Fantasy Legend ones. I mean, it's just scrolling text, but it's dramatically scrolling text, and it's got those games have such awesome music.
Dramatically scrolling text is the bar we're shooting for. Okay, I got you.
Yeah, exactly. And because your mind has to fill in the blanks and all that sort of stuff for everything that's going on. Yeah. Anyway.
Well, coming up next, we have maybe the
Chuck Knobloch,
foremost expert in Pokemon, I assume. I think people that made the Pokemon franchise might know less than RetroAli. She has a history working for Twitch. She has a very successful Twitch channel and a YouTube channel on the side, and she's full of energy. Got to say that for sure.
Yeah, I was really interested in having her on because she's a successful Twitch streamer and she's built up a huge audience there. And not only that, but she knows everything to ever. She's forgotten more about Pokemon than I'll ever know. So I was really excited to have her on.
While you've been sporadically throwing baseball players at us, I would love to have you versus her. See how long you guys could go. Her name a Pokemon, you name a baseball player. Her name a Pokemon. Just to tie it together here. But yeah, check out RetroAli's interview here right after a little bit of cooler.
Matt Noakes.
Hello, Ali. Welcome and thank you for coming on to the DrunkFriend podcast. How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing pretty good. Yeah, what's today? Tuesday? I don't even know what day it is anymore.
How many McDonald's Happy Meals have you bought?
I literally just tweeted about oh, can I curse? Is that cool?
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
I just shit
So,
posted.
yeah.
I totally just shit posted about the McDonald's thing. Oh my god. Because everybody's like flipping out because people are buying like cases of the packs, and it's like they don't even look that cool. They're reprinted cards and they just have a stamp on it. But you know I'm gonna go to McDonald's tomorrow and buy a Happy Meal. So I'm a huge hypocrite.
What is coming with those? Is it just cards?
Yeah, so you get like a little booster pack of like 25th anniversary cards, and then I think it comes with maybe like a dex box and like stickers or something. I don't know. I just care about the cards, but yeah.
It doesn't come with plastic toys anymore? What a ripoff.
Yeah, it'd be cool if they did that, but everybody freaks out over the cards because it's like blown up because of like quarantine and other things, but mainly that.
Yeah.
It's wild.
Has McDonald's ever had a Happy Meal line that has had plastic toys of Pokemon that you're aware of?
Yeah, I think they've done it in the past. I can't think of specific ones off the top of my head, but I do remember like Burger King, like back in the day, did like those gold cards, or like they had those little like plastic Game Boys with like Pokemon on them or something. But yeah, it's very interesting.
So we'll get more into Pokemon later on, but your Twitter bio says that you're a former staff at Twitch.
Yeah.
Can you say what sort of stuff you used to do there?
I worked with like Twitch support, so like if you like wrote in with like a problem, I would respond probably, but you wouldn't know it's me. So
okay.
Yeah, it was a fun time.
So was that fun? I mean, it sounds it might be fun. I mean, it sounds like you're you know, when you imagine like the 800 number for Nintendo Secrets way back in the 80s, and it's like, oh, I get to spend all day playing video games. And it's like, oh, I get to spend all day on Twitch.
I do get to like, I just put on Twitch on my second monitor. You know, I did that, but the people are really cool. But like, you obviously get people that are like raging at you or like, you know, asking stupid questions or something like that. You just got to deal with it. So, I don't know. There's, like, good and bad. I mean, it's like any job. There's, like, good and bad. But I'd say it's mostly good.
That's good.
Because you just kind of, I guess, like, doing content creation, you kind of learn to, like, deal with, like, the trolls, sort of.
Yep.
You can apply that to
sure
it.
Do.
So, it's pretty funny.
Yeah. Was there, like, an age limit to contact you? Or would you get, like, a tidal wave of 12-year-olds?
Oh, my God. No, there would be, I say kids, you know, in quotation marks, but like you would get like some kid that like sends in a thing and they'd be like, oh, like, you know, I lost my password, or I forgot my password, or something with their birthday. And you check their account and their birthday on the account says one thing. It's like an older age, but then the birthday they give us when they write in is like they're 12. So
it's like 2006 or something
so
like
it's just like, I can't let you do that, friend. I'm sorry.
And they're all somehow magically born on January 1st of whatever year is necessary to...
Or somebody will have a birthday of like, you know, the 1900s or something, whatever like the oldest or like the farthest back date is.
Yep.
Yeah.
So it sounded like you had a pretty good experience there. I mean, would you ever do another job like that?
I opposed, but I like what I'm doing right now. So outside of internet stuff, like my background's in like graphic design, web design, like UX stuff, and that's what I'm doing right now. I really like my job. Like, it's great. People are great. But like I wouldn't be opposed to doing something like in the industry again. But I do like having that separation between like my internet stuff and then my real life, just so like I stay sane, but also I'm not surrounded by, like Twitch content stuff all the time. Because obviously, I mean, you probably know this, it gets crazy. But so yeah, it's nice kind of having the separation. But I'm not opposed to it. Maybe one day I'll, somehow do something in gaming, like in terms of like an actual job again. But
well, let me ask you this, because does anybody at your real job know that you're a Twitch streamer
yes.
and that you have like 30,000 followers?
My manager, he's really cool. Like, everybody at my job is really cool. So I have like two main like bosses or managers, and one of them actually, I hate the term gamer because I just think it's cringe, but he is what you would call a gamer. Like, he likes WoW, he has a Switch, he plays his Switch with his son, like, he's cool, and he plays League. I actually played League of Legends with him like a couple weeks ago, and it was hilarious. So he gets it. He thinks it's cool. And then my other coworker, or my other manager, he, like, I think slowly like realized that like it's because on my, I have Twitch like on my stuff because like I worked there like legit, but then I don't think he realized the scale of it until like I guess he found my I forget how, but he found like my Twitch and my Instagram or something, and he's like, oh my god, like you have 10,000 followers on Instagram or like 30K followers on Twitch, you're like internet famous. I'm like, no, but thanks. And then like so like he does meme me about it in like a nice way. So yeah, they know about it. It's the rest of my coworkers though. I work with all like basically like 20-something white girls. So like they're all great. They talk about The Bachelor all the time. I love them, even though like I have no idea what's going on half the time. But it's a nice balance of like dealing with like internet stuff and then just like going to work and just chilling and doing the complete opposite. You're
not talking Final Fantasy Tactics strategy with your coworkers?
Fortunately or unfortunately, no.
Yeah.
But it's a nice like...
Because you'd always have the guy that's like, well, all you got to do is grind with the knight for like 17 hours and then you just finish the game. It's that simple.
Oh god. Well, it's nice too because like it's sort of, it makes you realize like in the grand scheme of things, like some stuff on YouTube or Twitch or whatever platform you're on, like it might seem like the end all be all or some drama happens, but like having like a normie job like makes you realize that like that shit is like, who cares? Like, I'm just here to play games on the internet, and then I go to my 9 to 5, and like, that's it.
Yeah, that's where I've been in the 7 years I've been doing this, and the difference though is that nobody knows what I do there at all. Nobody would ever ask, first of all. I remember when I worked at a school when I first started, when I first moved down to New Mexico, I should say. Somebody did ask me like, oh, what do you do outside of work? It's like, well, I got a YouTube channel where I talk about games people stopped playing 25 years ago, and it's gotten pretty popular, and it's up to like 30,000 subscribers. So I'm thinking this might be like a real thing. And she just didn't even like respond to that. She just said, well, I write poetry. And I'm
great.
Like, oh, you just want to have a conversation. Like, you don't actually care like what I do. Like, you just wanted to mention your poetry, and that's fine. But
so funny.
no, I don't go out of my way to tell people. That's for damn sure.
Yeah, me either. Like, I definitely don't. I'm like, I think compared to maybe how I am like in videos or on streams and stuff, like, like whenever you're making a video or streaming, like you're definitely, I've always said this, you're sometimes a little bit more of like an exaggerated version of yourself because you want to like, you want to, be energetic and all that kind of stuff.
Sure.
But like IRL, like I don't tell anybody I do it unless they ask about it. And to be fair, like I have a Twitch keychain on my keys. Like I have Twitch, half my wardrobe's like Twitch clothes I got from like working there. Like, so like I don't try to hide it in that sense, but like I'm not gonna go broadcasting it. That's like, oh my god, this last weekend I went to Home Goods to buy a computer chair because I needed to get a new desk chair, and I have my purse is like a Pokeball with like these pins on it, right? And the cashier was like, "Oh, I like your bag," and I was like, "Oh, thanks." And I was with my mom, and then my mom's like, "Go follow her on Twitch." I'm like, "Thanks." Yeah, he knows. He definitely can figure out my Twitch just from looking at my bag.
Oh, that's so sweet. That's so nice of her.
It was very wholesome. It was very wholesome.
That's the first time I've ever really heard a story like that's so great. Oh, you can. Yeah, that's a good. So, like, I'm so thankful you asked. Here's a card.
I don't even. Oh man, if I still had business cards, because all my business cards are like my old links and stuff, I totally whipped it out. Be like, "Here you go," just for the memes. And like, I just be like, "Here you go."
Trav.
Normally I would not do that.
Trav, are you still doing the old stump post? You know how like politicians used to campaign? They go on tree stumps and on people's balconies and. Here's how it's going to be. See, you're going to go to NESfriend and you're going to watch all the videos and learn all you want about,
No, I relish the security by obscurity. I like that term where I'm forever obscure on the internet, and therefore my employer should never find it, although it's possible, I guess. But yeah, I don't want anybody to know.
I guess mine's my name, so like I kind of fucked up there, but it's whatever.
It happens.
Yeah, I feel for dudes like Norm Caruso. It's like, well, what is he gonna do? What is he gonna call himself? Corm DeRusso instead, or
it's
like
change his name.
Yeah, point of no return.
He just puts a mustache and a trench coat on, and you'll never know it was him.
So your go-to for anything gaming related and probably anything life related is Pokemon.
Yes.
Here's the thing, though. Me and Trav, actually, I'm totally speaking for Trav. We don't know anything about Pokemon. Like, I mean, we know some things, but for me, and I think for Trav too, we're old. So when Pokemon first got popular, I want to say it was like 96, 97. So
it was around like 90 or when Japan, and then it came over here like 1998, 99. I forget.
See, I'm 16 years old. I'm already hating all the stuff that I liked as a kid. I have long hair. I'm in a band. I'm a total douche.
Oh my god.
What about you, Trav? What was your introduction to Pokemon?
I played my first Pokemon game just last year, and it was the brand spanking new one because when I was curious about it, and I thought it was fun, but I definitely didn't get into it back in the day because I was a little bit older. It was all of my friends' little sister game, like all of their little sisters played it.
That is so accurate. That's me because I'm an older
right,
brother,
yeah,
so.
and because of that, for whatever reason, it made it a little less desirable for us to want to dive into, but I enjoyed what I played last year, so I get it. I feel like I've missed out on quite a bit, but I'll let Alex continue on with this question. But I totally whiffed on it growing up.
Yeah, for me, I just lumped it along with like Power Rangers and all that sort of stuff, especially once you started getting the I don't want to say rip-offs because it was kind of different, but like Digimon and that sort of stuff.
Oh, there's so many.
Yeah.
Like, there's so many of those. It's honestly ridiculous. I've gone back and like, there's a lot of, one of the weird like niche sort of like, I guess, genres I'm into is like Pokemon rip-offs on the Game Boy and Game Boy Color that were only released in Japan. There's a lot of those. Surprisingly.
Do they have patches or can you play them in Japanese or?
Oh, I don't know Japanese. I just guess and use Google Translate. It's kind of fun, but nice. Yeah. So like that's a whole thing because like a lot of those games like didn't come over here, so that's like a weird. I don't know. That's like one of my weird little like mini collections, I guess. Is I like buying those games. Plus, they're cheap. So.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, I forget which one. I want to say it was Pokemon Ruby, the Game Boy Advance one that I played. Yeah. And I did like it. But if you were to recommend... Okay, so I consider there being 3 levels of noob. There's brand new to gaming in general. Yes. There's brand new to turn-based RPG stuff. And then there's brand new to Pokemon. So if you had to break down... Like, if you're just new to gaming, what would you start with?
Ooh, okay. So if you're new to gaming, I would definitely say, if we're just like talking like, to what is today, February 9th, 2021, definitely would say the Switch games. So either like Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, those are really like beginner friendly, or Sword and Shield, but I would say probably Let's Go because that's like specifically geared towards new people, which for that game, like, I was like, what the fuck is this at first? But then, like, once it came out, it wasn't what I asked for, but I played it, and it was really fun. So, like, that's a good game. And then, would you say, new to turn-based
just
games?
the typical RPG stuff. Like,
yeah,
you play the occasional phone game, and maybe you play Mario, but, yeah.
But you've never, I feel like I'm going to end up, like, going backwards, because it's like the newer games are like they've gotten more and more like noob friendly, I guess, for lack of a better term. I'd maybe say I think the 3DS game, any of the 3DS games are like relatively accessible for like someone that, you know, they've played games but like they haven't, you know, dipped their feet into any like RPGs or turn-based stuff. So like that's like Pokemon X and Y, Pokemon Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire, Sun and Moon, Ultra Sun and Moon. Those are all really good. And I still think, I mean, I personally love the 3DS, so like I will always recommend 3DS games. And then someone new to Pokemon, so I guess that would be like, you know, maybe you've played RPGs before.
Right, exactly. You don't need your...
You're a gamer, but, you know, you never... Yeah, I would say for that kind of person, I would definitely go back and... that's tough because there's so many I want to recommend. I would say it depends on like your age and maybe like what handheld you like, because like I think Pokemon Crystal is like my favorite game of all time, but if you didn't grow up with the Game Boy, then that might be a tough one to go back and play. But hey, maybe you grew up with the GBA, so you could play Emerald. That has a lot of, you know, great storyline content. And then, you know, Gen 4 and 5, which are the DS games, so that's like Pokemon Diamond, Pearl, Platinum, and then Black and White 2. All of those are great, and those are probably like, I always consider Generation 5 kind of like the last good Pokemon games, because that was before the transition to 3D, and Pokemon Black and White, I think, were just really ambitious with like their features and, you know, all this other stuff I could ramble on about. But yeah, any of like Gen 2, Gen 3, Gen 4, like anything on like Game Boy Advance, DS, are really good picks. The only one I probably wouldn't recommend, unless you're nostalgic for it, is like, you know, Red and Blue, because
going all the way
they
back.
haven't aged well. I love Pokemon Yellow. That was like my first video game ever, but like I feel bad. I kind of feel bad for people that go back and play it now who haven't played it before, because like it's great that you're playing it, but like it also is a hot mess. So I don't know, I love those games, but I could totally understand if like someone shat all over them, because Gen 1 is just a dumpster fire.
Well, and I was going to say, like, you can start with any of these, right? It's not like you have to go back to Gen 1 and play all of them in sequence. Like, yeah.
So the only ones that are sort of connected in a way would be like if you play Black and White and then Black and White 2, right? You don't have to play all four. You could do White 2. It doesn't matter. Those ones are like kind of linked, and then Sun and Moon, and then Ultra Sun and Moon. You don't necessarily have to play the first one, but the second like sequel, or I don't even call them sequels, it's sort of like DLC, honestly, to the first game. They add a lot of like post-game stuff and story, but yeah, the only really connected ones are like Gen 5. But even then, you could play them standalone and you'd still probably be fine.
Cool.
So.
That's awesome. So yeah, you're clearly you're a walking Pokedex, I guess, so to speak. Right?
Yeah, that's... You know, there's an article a couple months ago that's like apparently people that grew up with Pokemon, they have like a section in their brain like dedicated to like having the Pokemon memorized. It's wild. That's definitely
I believe it.
up to a point, because once you get to like the 3D, when they added new Pokemon like to the 3DS games and on, that's where you lose me.
Oh, okay. So you do have a limit. Well, that's kind of encouraging, because you were kind of sounding like you might be part robot there for a second, but
I mean, maybe part robot. Like, I know the ones past the 3DS games, but in terms of the ones I have memorized, that's like the DS era and earlier, because that's when I was like growing up. So I had so much free time, I just memorized everything.
Yeah, and
well, let me ask.
Go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, like, you mentioned that Pokemon Yellow was probably your first video game, and is that the whole reason that you're in love with the series? Was that it clicked then?
Yes.
From that very moment, it was. Okay.
Mm-hmm. I was like in kindergarten, I think, maybe, and my brother had a Game Boy Color, and he had Pokemon Yellow, and I think one day, like, I guess he was like sharing it with me or something, and then it kind of just became mine, and he got a PS2 and he didn't care anymore about, you know, Nintendo stuff, so Yeah, that's how that happened.
Okay.
So you're just loyal to it, like from the beginning. Then.
Oh yeah, I'm in too deep.
In too deep at this point.
At this point, I can't go back.
Well,
so.
Let me ask you this then: if the Pokemon universe were to do some massive Kingdom Hearts style crossover with another franchise, other than the obvious like Super Smash Brothers stuff. But if like a linear, well, not necessarily linear, but like just another RPG kind of Kingdom Hearts style game, what would be your pick? What would you like to see it paired with?
I would love to see it paired with Final Fantasy because that's like my favorite. Everybody's always like, "What's your favorite thing that's like not Pokemon?" It'd be Final Fantasy. I would. Any
particular game? Okay, top three.
Okay. Well, to be fair, if I'm gonna go on this ramble about Final Fantasy, so I have played because I haven't played and beaten all of them, but I kind of like grew up with them. But like as a kid, I could never fucking figure it out. So like let's see, 3 on the DS was my first one, and I never beat it, but I love that game. I know some people probably like don't like it because I don't know.
Not a lot of fans of that one, yeah.
I love that one because I'm nostalgic for it. So I have that. That was my first one. I never beat it. I'm trying to beat it, but I've played that one. 4 I have on DS, and I played a little bit of the GBA one a while back, but that one I still have to beat. 5 I'm actually in the middle of right now on GBA. I'm like stuck on some boss. 6 is probably my favorite, I would say. 7 is a close second. And then 8 I have on Switch, and I'm literally in the first 5 minutes of it. 9 I haven't played yet, and then I have that what is it, like the Final Fantasy X remaster compilation thing. I have that on Switch, and I'm playing that one right now. But anything past that I haven't played, and honestly I prefer the older ones, because I don't know what the fuck Final Fantasy's doing now, like with like Final Fantasy 14 and stuff. So
or 13, which was a disaster.
Yeah, it's a lot. But the Final Fantasy's always been my favorite outside of Pokemon, just because it's a similar gameplay. It's turn-based type stuff, and I've always liked the fantasy part of it.
Indeed.
Fair.
But I would say Final Fantasy. I would geek out like, that'd be awesome.
I can't argue with that. It worked with Disney. So I don't even know what else I would pick. I might do like, let's click the, I'm sure there's like a random like generator somebody made in Java or something like that. Online, someone's like website that's like pair Pokemon with MacGyver or something like that.
Oh my God. Kirby would be really cute too, now that I think about it. But I feel like that's too easy.
Kirby?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That could be cute.
That would be fun.
But also, that kind of overlaps with Smash, technically.
Yeah, you can do that.
I guess.
We'll allow
you can do it.
Yeah, we'll allow it.
Interesting. So I guess we can change gears here and talk a little bit more, I guess, back to Twitch. We talked about how you worked there, but obviously now you're a streamer there. And we've had some other streamers on here. Hungry Garaya is one that we've had. And she also does Twitch and YouTube. And it seems pretty obvious that you prefer Twitch, or at least that's where it seems like you get a little bit more attention. Why one over the other, and how's that dynamic work between the types of content that you put out?
So Twitch, I've always kind of put Twitch over YouTube just because that's where I started out, and that's what I'm used to. Because Twitch, I started this month it'll be like 6 years, which is wild.
Dang.
And then YouTube, I technically have been doing YouTube for just as long, but like I really did not start taking YouTube seriously till a little bit later on, like a couple years down the road, because I didn't know what I was doing in terms of content. But in terms of like what I do on Twitch versus what I do on YouTube, a lot of what I do on Twitch is like, a lot of like retro game playthroughs. Like I do a lot of like blind playthroughs because there's a lot of older games I just missed out on, or I wasn't born yet, or I just never played, or I never beat as a kid. So I've been doing that a lot lately. I'll obviously play Pokemon, but those are kind of like, other random like Nintendo games, like Animal Crossing, but that's the main like gist of it, is like retro games and Pokemon. And then with YouTube, mainly what I've been doing. I kind of have like two sort of main things I do, which is, you know, obviously I make videos about like retro game history because I'm really into that. And then the other thing that sort of popped off on my channel was like reaction videos to like Nintendo Directs and Smash stuff, which like that kind of just happened. I didn't go into that like thinking it would be a thing or like it would be popular, but it gets a lot of views and it's fun to do, so I do it and people seem to enjoy it, despite, you know, some of the weird comments I get. But so those are the main two things. And then occasionally, you know, I'll take some of my stream content and turn it into a video, but I don't know, I sometimes just don't have the time to do that, so I'll just make separate videos, you know, for YouTube, because they're kind of, I don't know, what I'm doing on Twitch and YouTube are kind of similar and they kind of work in tandem. And then sometimes with YouTube, you know, obviously like the long form, you know, like gaming history stuff, that's completely separate, you know, from Twitch, because you can't really do that on Twitch,
you gotta write something ahead of time and read and edit and all that sort of stuff. Yep, I know all about that. It's funny, we're in complete opposite places because Twitch is very intimidating to me. I'm team
That's fair.
I'm team no face along with Trav.
Yeah, no faces.
I don't like showing my face anywhere. And I also don't know what half the stuff means, like, or any of the emotes mean, or
Poggers.
Yeah, that guy. I don't know who that is or what he's doing. I have my old man Twitch channels saved, like Mystery Science Theater and Bob Ross. It's like I'm watching PBS on Twitch, for God's sake. But so that brings me to like, how do you go about building an audience on Twitch? Is it a matter of keeping the same schedule so people know when to expect you, or how does that work for you?
Yeah, so for Twitch, you know, a lot of it is being on a consistent schedule. I've pretty much streamed almost every day, maybe give or take, like randomly being away for a month. Like I've streamed every day for like the past like 6 years, like around evening time, you know, like EST. So like that's sort of my time slot, I guess, right? So people know to expect me at like 6 p.m., you know, pretty much every day, except for like, you know, oh my gosh, I have to burp maybe? No? Oh, okay, what am I? Anyway, people know to expect me like every day except for Tuesdays and like Saturdays are like the days I don't stream. Mondays and Saturdays. Wow. So consistent schedule, yes. Being consistent in terms of what you stream. And what I mean by that is like, if you're going to be like, you know, somebody that exclusively streams, you know, retro JRPGs, then, you know, you better stick to that, because if you try to stream something else, you'll get less viewers, and some people don't care about that, which is fine, but a lot of people do. So, you know, be consistent and like, in terms of not only schedule, but like the content you put out. So similar to YouTube in that sense. Or if you want to do pure variety, make sure you like brand yourself that way. For me, I'm mainly known for doing Pokemon, Nintendo, and like retro gaming stuff, which is all kind of under like the same umbrella or like very related, has a lot of crossover. And then the last thing I would say, definitely, I feel like, I mean, maybe this is just me, but just thinking about it, but I feel like networking matters a lot more on Twitch maybe than it does YouTube, just because Twitch is a lot more reliant on word of mouth and like raiding people. Like, you know, when you're done your stream, you can go raid someone else and send your viewers to them, or, you know, somebody does that to you. And if you collaborate with people, all that sort of stuff, I think that it's a lot more one-on-one interaction as opposed to YouTube, where like you post a video, you maybe respond to some comments and like that's it. You know, obviously there's other stuff you can do, but those are kind of like the main three things, I guess I would say. For Twitch,
the raid thing is big. I remember when a raid happened to Hungry Gorilla's stream, and I was like, "What does that mean? What's happening?" I was like a lost child. But
oh my God.
So you're on Twitch. You're streaming 5 days a week. Do you ever feel the pressure to feel quote unquote on when you're streaming? Like, okay, I got to crank up the energy. I gotta. Yeah.
Like, especially if I'm like, I mean, I'm tired like 24/7, but like, especially like mentally, if I'm just like not feeling it, or like, I try to not force myself to stream if I don't want to. So like, for example, like Sunday, you know, I was really tired and I actually fell asleep when I was supposed to stream, and I was like, well, I guess I'm not streaming. I needed to nap because I needed that, you know, self-care. So like, I try not to force it. if I'm not feeling it. But even sometimes if I feel like a little iffy and I'm like, you know what, screw it, I'll just stream anyway. Sometimes it does make me feel like a little bit better because obviously like social interaction.
Sure.
But definitely, yeah, I've definitely felt that way before, but I try to kind of sort of avoid that in terms of like I give myself time off when I need it, just because like if I don't go live like one day, like just let's say I take a random day off, it's not the end of the world, but also like, you know, for Twitch subs, like from the money side of it, people are resubbing. It's like a reoccurring monthly thing. So it's like, you know, as long as people still stay subbed and I'm still streaming consistently, even if I miss a day or two, I'm still probably fine. You know, not that like I'm not doing Twitch full time anymore. I used to, and it was very stressful. I don't recommend it. But, you know, so I also too, since I have an actual job, I don't have to stress about like numbers and stuff. So
yeah, it's something I've gone back and forth between, because there are some days at my real job where I'm just like, you know, I don't have to do that. I can quit. Yeah. I could probably get away with quitting at this point and just doing, if I did 3 videos a week instead of 2, and then started an additional, you know, if I did all this extra crap. But it's so much work, and it's so much pressure to like not only get it right, but to get it consistent within the style that you usually do it in. I do want to ask real quick, though, if there were any other channels or personalities that you looked at as kind of a template, or at least as some kind of inspiration.
Yeah, so back when I first started or actually when I first joined Twitch, funnily enough, I created my Twitch account on Valentine's Day in 2014, so I feel like that says a lot about me.
You got 6 years coming up here, man. That's cool.
Yeah. So when I first made my account, I made my account because Twitch plays Pokemon, which was fun. But the 2 streamers I mainly watched that I guess like tried to model myself after were Justin Flynn, who I don't think he streams anymore. Like he kind of just disappeared to focus on real life, which great for him. I'm happy for him. But he was like at the time. So keep in mind, this is like 2014. So this is when Pokemon X and Y were really big. They just came out, whatever. And he was pretty big. He would have like 1,000 viewers or something crazy. And he was the first like streamer, probably one of the first streamers I watched. And he's really energetic. You know, his graphics looked really clean. And like in terms of his community and like, you know, their love for Pokemon and stuff, I was like, oh, he's so cool. Like I want to do that. And then the other streamer I watched, who actually still does stream, because you know Justin doesn't, Miss Kylie, she is like a variety streamer, and sort of like same thing, like her community's just really welcoming, she's really nice, and I was just like, you know what, like I want to see if I can do that. So those are kind of like my 2 like initial inspirations, I guess, or like sort of the first streamers that I was like, maybe I should try this. So,
right on. And by the way, Trav, you'll totally want to edit. I totally meant 7 years, not 6.
Oh, the math.
Yeah, maths are hard.
2020 didn't happen. We'll just go ahead and just say 6.
there we go.
Yeah, you're fine. You're all right. Speaking of Alex, you and Alex were both guests at the Uplink convention thing. I forget the proper name of.
Close enough.
Over the summer. Have you been invited to other conventions in the past, and what have those experiences been like for you? Is that a thing that you are used to doing?
Yeah, I've done oh man, I'm trying to like remember back to like pre 2020 and what going to conventions is like. But like normally, like convention wise, what I do is I'll like do panels, or what I've mainly done is I'll stream from conventions. So normally stuff like PAX and like TwitchCon and stuff, they'll have little booths. And usually like, for example, like Twitch did one of these, and like Elgato, they'll have little pods where you can sign up to stream for like an hour. And it's really cool streaming from a convention, and it's just like a neat way to sort of like network or whatever. But usually I'll do that. But honestly lately, or well, even before all of this happened with the world ending, like I was kind of over, like, I mean, I don't mind panels, but like I was kind of done, at least on the streaming side of it, I was kind of sick of like playing the game of like networking and like going to parties and blah, blah, blah. Like I hate that shit. Like I just want to go to conventions for fun and buy weeb stuff and yeah. and buy old games. Like, that's all I want to do. Like, I don't want to do like fucking PAX where it's huge and like I feel like I have to go to every booth and like try to, you know, talk to people, you know? So that's how I feel about conventions now. But actually, I think it's been like confirmed and stuff, but Uplink's doing another thing, I think, in a couple weeks. I'm like moderating like 2 panels, I think. Pokemon ones, shocker.
God, you did 2 things last year too, didn't you?
Yeah, I did the panel with Tony. We did like the Pokemon Center thing.
I saw some of that. Yeah.
And then I had a solo panel. I almost forgot. But this time I'm moderating, like two friends of mine are doing 2 panels, and I'm like helping moderate it or whatever. So.
Well, that sounds a lot less nerve-wracking than having to do your own panel. Yeah. That actually sounds pretty fun.
Yeah,
actually.
Thank God. Yeah, I just sit back and, you know, chime in every 5 minutes with like a question or keep people on track or whatever.
Sure. Or shout people down in the chat.
Oh God.
Great. Yeah. So, I mean, do we want to jump into these Pokemon questions we have, Alex? I thought maybe we'd put the expert through the ringer here and see what kind of answers we get.
Oh, boy.
Lightning round.
All right. They're not. You remember that you're getting asked questions about Pokemon from 2 people that know jack shit about Pokemon.
Yeah.
So you'll be fine, I'm sure. But we're gonna start with some basics here, just to get to know you from a Pokemon perspective. I mean, do you have a favorite Pokemon?
Okay. Yes. Raichu is my favorite.
And what is that guy? What's he up to?
It's Pikachu's evolution. He's electric type. It's my profile picture, except people on the podcast won't see it. So, but yeah, he's Pikachu's Evo. He's a fat, chubby, electric mouse, and he's really cute.
Very cool. Which Pokemon critter's name do you think is the most fun to say?
I always say it wrong, but I think it's from Gen 5, Alola Mola, I think is the proper way to say it, but I say it Alola Lola Mola, like I just say it for as long as I can.
That's like the dude, it's ridiculous. The dude from Age of Empires, obscure reference there.
No, I got it. That was actually good. Yeah, that was good.
So, which Pokemon is the most hideous?
Ooh, I personally, like, my most hated Pokemon is this trio of monkeys, and they're all based on elements. So you have like a water monkey, a fire monkey, and a grass monkey, and I absolutely hate them because I don't like monkeys. So those are the ugliest ones to me.
All right.
Yeah, I'm very passionate about my hate for the elemental monkey.
Well, is it grass monkey or brass monkey?
Grass monkey.
Okay.
Green,
is that a Beastie
Boys? They were
grass.
referencing Beastie Boys there for a second. I was like, damn. It's like, they sound pretty cool to me. So now we got some would you rathers.
Yeah.
Okay.
Would you rather get shocked by Pikachu or get stuck in a storm with gloom? Or, I'm sorry, get stuck in a room with gloom. Get stuck in a storm.
Pikachu. Because I like Pikachu better.
So you'd rather get shocked by him?
Yeah, why not?
Okay.
I'll take it.
Sure. Would you rather take a nap with Snorlax or swim with Squirtle? I don't know what I'm saying right now, by the way.
Swim with Squirtle, 100%.
Okay.
That would be so fun.
That'd be fun if I could swim. Where would you rather live? Is it Kanto, or Alola?
Alola. Kanto, because I'm a dirty Gen 1er. And I actually, it's funny because Alola, that's Sun and Moon, so that's the 3DS games. Those are like my least favorite, so it seems like a nice place to live. It's like Hawaii, but yeah, I gotta go with Kanto because that's the OG.
Interesting. I guess Alola is supposed to be like a spinoff of Aloha to give it the...
Yeah.
Oh, in Kanto, I guess, is just supposed to look like Michigan or something. Who knows?
Sure, let's go with that.
Which would you rather pet, a Growlithe, or a Persian?
Growlithe, because he's a fluffy dog.
Yeah, isn't Persian a fluffy cat?
He's cute. Persian's like naked.
Oh,
I don't know.
Interesting.
Where'd you get? You got to fact check your information here, Trav.
I googled what are some good questions to ask Pokemon people, and I got a few. This is what we're doing.
That's good. That's good.
Okay, last one. You wake up and you're burst out of a Pokeball. as a new undiscovered Pokemon. What is your name? What's your type and your special attack?
Ooh, okay. Type would probably be water. My name, I'm going to go with Alichu because that's very original.
Sure.
And I would say my move would be, oh man. Let's say I always really liked the move Ice Beam, and some water types can learn Ice Beam, so I'll go with that.
Very good.
Pretty powerful stuff.
I think, yeah I think if...
That's not something I'm reckoning with.
No, not at all. Not the Alichu. Which also almost sounds like a sneeze. But it
does.
I would say the Pokemon folks that listen to this podcast have been very satiated in this episode. We thank you for sharing all of your wonderful knowledge of this franchise, and I'm going to have to listen back and slow it down so I can pick up some of those tips from earlier about which games I should be playing, but we do appreciate that.
Yeah, very much so. Because I've always been curious. It's kind of like anime for me, where I've always wanted to dip my toe into it. And sure enough, I do have some of my favorite shows. I love, of course, Full Metal Alchemist. And I have my old favorites from the 90s, like Slayers and Tenchi Muyo. But Pokemon's kind of the same thing, where it's like it's so huge and intimidating, but I'm still kind of curious. It does look fun. I like the evolution part of it is really cool, but it's kind of intimidating to know where to start. But now I feel like I've got more of a grip on it, so I appreciate you spending some time with us, letting us know.
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah, I
got you.
I was going to say I kicked off my brief Pokemon career playing Let's Go Pikachu, and it did water things down enough to where I was like, oh, okay, this is how you do that. So I started like a week ago, but I haven't picked it up since, was the leaf green version. And I was like, oh, okay, so thanks to having played Let's Go Pikachu, this is all coming very natural and normal. It was a very good starting point. So I would go along with Allie and recommend, like, those are good starting points if you're just completely intimidated by Pokemon.
Yeah, I think that's what they were trying to go for with that game, for Let's Go. Because I've heard a lot of stories online where, there's, maybe people like 5 years older than me that like grew up with Pokemon. Like they were a little bit older than I was when it came out, and like they have kids now and they're like, oh, I played Pokemon or Pikachu Let's Go with like my 5-year-old or whatever. It was so wholesome. I'm like, oh, that's cute. Like, that's I think that's kind of, they're trying to hit that like nostalgia point for the older fans, but then also trying to bring in like the new, raise another generation up on Pokemon essentially.
Right. Yeah.
Because, gotta have new blood.
Yeah, it's a tough balance.
Yeah.
Indeed.
All right. I think that about does it for us.
Again, thank you, Allie, for taking the time. We really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
And people can find you on YouTube at youtube.com/RetroAli. You're on Twitter at RetroAli, but the O is a 0.
Yes, because someone took my name.
The people out there. And then
people.
And on Twitch, what's the URL for that?
Twitch.tv/Ali, so just ALI.
That's easy.
Oh, I see. You used your insider connections to get the absolute.
I was curious about that. Very good.
People are always like, "How did you get that name?" And I'm just like, I'll like respond as a meme, and I'll be like, "Oh, it was magic." But it's like, did you look at my Twitter bio and put 2 and 2 together? Like,
fair enough.
I actually have a quick story, funny story where I got up to, I want to say 10,000 subs on YouTube, somewhere around like 2015, somewhere around there. And some guy emailed me out of nowhere saying, hey, would you like to buy SNESdrunk.com? And I was just like, no, I don't really care. I can wait this guy out. And sure enough, he held on to it till, I want to say till like 2018 for about 3 years before I was able to swoop in and steal it from him for $12 a year.
Crazy.
Jeez.
That's like somebody on Instagram has RetroAli, but like they actively use the account and they like thrift vintage stuff or something. And I DM them like every 3 months and I'm like, hey man, I'll buy your username.
This guy wanted to sell me SNESdrunk.com for like $75, and I'm like, dude, I got 10,000 subscribers. You think I'm like a freaking big shot or something?
Oh my god, you can buy domains for so cheap too. Like, who's gonna scot on a domain for like random YouTube people? Like, especially with like what we're in, where it's like we talk about games from like 20 years ago. Like, come on, man.
It's as niche as it gets. Yeah, niche within a niche.
Yep.
Right on. So, yeah, thanks for taking the time to...
thanks for having me.
And good luck at your convention, the Uplink
Thanks.
thing. I was asked to go, but I said no.
Oh, hell, come on.
Oh, it's okay.
No, it was too nerve-wracking. Like, I don't have...
That's fair.
I don't have the stomach for it. I was. This is what compelled me to first get in contact with you, because I'm like, hey, you're at this thing too. What do you do? What do you do with these things?
Yeah,
you probably remember that.
Yeah, what I found that's really interesting when I've talked to, because like I've gotten to know a lot more people in like the retro gaming space, like on YouTube, and specifically even people that like I watched your videos before, like I kind of like met you, you know, and like Kinsey from like Metal Jesus Rocks, and like Kelsey, like I would say I'm like good friends with them. But what's interesting about that is I find that a lot of YouTube people, when it comes to, not everyone, but like some people for YouTube, you know, obviously you're so used to recording, you know, pre-recording videos versus doing it live. So I found like in terms of like whether it's like conventions or panels or like a live stream, it's a lot more like intense, I guess, versus like, you know, whenever I'm on a stream, I'm just like, whatever. Like I just say whatever the fuck comes to mind, and like I'm surprised I don't have an anxiety attack every time I stream, honestly. But, you know, we've made it to this point.
That's a pretty sweet mutant power to have, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Because, yeah, mine is just being nervous about every little thing that could go wrong. But it ended up going well. It's just the amount of preparation I made, like, just went out the window. And I ended up just like doing a quick Q&A while, you know, just acting like a clown, I guess. That's
what I did for my, like, because I had the panel with Tony and that one was all planned out. And then my own personal panel, I just did like a Q&A, and I was just like, it's just like one of my streams, except this is a convention. And
yeah, just a different audience, I guess. Or maybe not. Maybe it's all the same people that came by.
There's some new people, some people from my community, some like new people that were just like, oh, what's this?
So thanks again for taking the time. We appreciate you very much. TwitchTV.ali, everybody. Or Twitch.tv/Ali.
There you go.
Everybody.
Yep.
Pat Sheridan.
You're still recording, I assume?
Yeah.
All right, Jeff Blauser. All right, everyone. That's
Jeff
been
Treadway.
Mark Lemke. All right, everyone. That has been another Drunk Friend podcast. As always, you can
Terry Pendleton.
You can reach out to us with questions or comments at drunkfriendpodcast@gmail.com. We'll respond. We'll read it here someday. Send it on a holiday. Pick a holiday, send it. We don't give a shit. Please head over to polymedianetwork.com if you want to hear more podcasts like this one. We got Petey's Power Hour. We got Tales of the Lesser Medium. It's got a new series about Half-Life out. It's pretty funny. We got Polykill, Indie Quest, and more.
If you're not interested in sending us an email, that's fine. Just give us a rating and review on a podcast app of your choice, and that'll help us out big time. Pedro Munoz.
Mark Wohlers. You can find us all on social media. I'm on Twitter at Trav Plays Games. Alex is, of course, at SNESdrunk, and you can find Ali at RetroAli with the O as a 0.
As always, the music you heard in the beginning and can hear right now is composed by our friend Coolor. The track you hear is called Electric Starbounce, and you can find a link to more of his music on the Buzzsprout podcast page. Shout out to Josh Leslie for our thirst-quenching logo, Kevin Tapany.
Be sure to catch us all on YouTube. Raphael for a call, and thanks for listening.
And we hope you have a great rest of your day. Gary Gaetti!